Well, hello and good evening, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here this evening. I'm Amanda McCrossin at Sauvignon, taking over this Napa Valley Vintners Instagram. To...
So I just requested Jamie. Hi.
Hello!
Oh no, I have to drink 2015 Sauvignon Blanc instead now.
I know, you poor thing. I feel so bad for you.
I know it's the worst. It's the worst. How are you?
I am great. I am great. I'm calling in from sunny Santa Barbara, so
Oh my gosh.
I
How
know.
are how are our friends down in Santa Barbara right now? What's
I
going on?
literally just arrived and doing this, and then we're gonna go out and figure out how they're doing.
I love it. Well,
It looks good
Jamie,
though.
good. I was just down there recently. It's beautiful right now. Of course, nothing compared to Napa Valley, but uh, Jamie Araujo, a Trois, Noix. You always say that so much more beautifully than I can.
Not
We've
at all.
got we've got an aged Sauvignon Blanc. How lucky are we to have a 2015 Sauvignon Blanc?
Yes, it is. It's honestly, it's a special vintage for me for a lot of reasons, but partially because it was the very first Sauvignon Blanc that I made for Trois Noix. And 2015 personally was the year I made plans to move back to the United States after having been abroad for 25 years. So we moved back in 2016, but 2015 was the year that that decision was made. So that's very special to me. And then in terms of the wine, I think 2015, the reason I chose this particularly for this event is that this year we've had a lot of talk about drought, about very dry conditions, and about very early harvest. And in fact, 2015 was really a very similar year. So looking at how beautifully this wine has aged and how amazing it is, gives me a lot of hope for this year's vintage. So we've seen a few more weeks of very, 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 very boring weather, and then we will be good to go.
Well, as Paula said, no drama is a good thing. We like a little boring.
Yes, very boring. We are all up for a very boring harvest this year. Sorry, it looks like I have antenna. This is really hilarious.
Oh my gosh, it does a little bit, but I never would have noticed unless you pointed it out. That's why we drink, though. We drink to make it all go away.
Indeed.
Um,
Chin.
Jamie, not a lot of people know that Sauvignon Blanc can age. I think we think about it as a variety that we drink young, it's bright, it's crisp, but in certain situations, it can really have an extended life. What about this wine makes it so that it can have an extended life beyond just those first few years?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a couple of things. One is that we really focus on a balance of acidity to fruit. So the wines are clearly not acidic, or what we think of as acidic when they're young, but they do have that brightness and they have the structure that allows them to age. And the other thing is that balance, right? I think when you've got that balance and the quality of the grapes that we are lucky enough to work with in Napa Valley, we get some really beautiful things. And what I love about this wine particularly is that this is like 86% Sauvignon Muscat, which is a
Oh,
clone of
it's
Sauvignon Blanc, which is thought of as like the more flowery, exotic, like, and not the structured,
right.
right, clone of Sauvignon Blanc. But in fact, I mean, I think the proof of the pudding is in the glass, as it were.
I think it is incredibly aromatic, and I love that you use Muscat. So is the other percentage of that Sauvignon Blanc, or did you add it a little Semillon?
In fact, in 2015, we were lucky enough to get a little Semillon. So that is also another reason why I think this particular vintage ages so incredibly well, because
Yes.
Semillon just goes on and on and on and on forever, as our Australian friends will tell us, and our friends in Bordeaux for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I love Sauvignon Blanc as an aged variety, actually probably more so than as a young wine. And I've had the pleasure of drinking ones from Napa Valley from all the way back into the 90s. And they are just spectacular and bright. And I think what happens that not a lot of people know is they sort of lean into this sort of like weighty, textured, waxy thing. And so they get really, really interesting. So these citrus flavors start to move into something that's a little bit more elongated and a little less of that like angularity. And it goes a little more meringue and tropical sometimes. But I love this wine. I love that you've made the 2015 available. It's so, so special.
And honestly, there were only 97 cases made. So this is really dipping into my personal cellar for this particular thing. But I just, you know, the vintners have done such an amazing job over the last, I mean, they do a great job anyway, but they've done a particularly great job over the last year and a half, really just helping all of us in Napa Valley and our hospitality partners and our nonprofit partners to weather the storm of everything that happened to us over the last 2 years. So I really believe that it's important to support our friends who have supported us. So yay.
Couldn't agree more. Cheers to the vintners. We'll do a little race to the glass of that. I can't stop drinking this wine. What would you eat with this? What is your professional winemaker opinion? I have some thoughts if you.
Oh, I'd love to hear your thoughts actually.
Well, I'd love a little cheese. I would treat this like more like a Chardonnay than a Sauvignon Blanc.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would lean into some creamier cheeses with this. I would also maybe do something like a light halibut with like a creamy sauce on that. But it's got a lot of texture. And so this Sauvignon Blanc can stand up to things that we maybe wouldn't have normally thought of with a younger Sauvignon Blanc.
For sure. And I would say if you're that way inclined, definitely take this to your sushi or kaiseki meal and really fabulous with a little bit of spicy, even Thai food.
Yes.
It's delicious.
That's a great call. That's a great call. I love this with little Thai. Yeah, I mean, it's got all the ripeness that we want, not in an overwhelming way, but texturally sort of fleshy and meaty and weighty and perfect.
Yeah.
What's going on with harvest? Because I know you not only just make a Sauvignon Blanc, you make Cabernet. So are you kind of in that weird like eye of the storm?
Yeah. So Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Rosé, all in the barn, which is great. And last night, in fact, we brought in our very first reds. We brought in our Merlot. It's the very first time we're making Merlot from your Hannah down in Oak Knoll. And we've got Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc coming in the next week to 10 days. So
exciting.
We'll be done. Yes.
What keeps you up at night during harvest?
Oh my gosh, what keeps me up at night? Harvest keeps me up at night because we harvest in the middle of the night or in the very early morning.
Yeah.
But actually, I was very lucky. So last year, my kids actually did their first harvest with me, and they decided they really loved it. And so last night, I got to bring them along, which was great. I think they're probably a piece of garbage at school this morning, but it was great. We were out in the middle of the vineyard under the stars at midnight. It was just kind of magical.
I think that's so wonderful. And I love that so many of the vintners in the Valley are really leaning into bringing in their family, making it a generational thing. I was just at Aspen Food and Wine talking about the next generation
I
here.
saw that.
Yes.
Awesome.
And yeah, it was wonderful. It was really, really good to bring Napa to Aspen. But one of the things that I really talked about that I think is so important, and it's happening to your point about bringing your kids to harvest, is this idea that we are making this a family thing. This is very much about all of the generations working together to make these beautiful wines. It doesn't happen without our entire community, and that includes the young kids as well.
Absolutely. And I would say, big shout out to St. Helena High because they are working hard on Ag Bio, Ag Chem, Future Farmers of America, and they are helping to feed our agricultural pipeline, which is a really wonderful support to have in our community.
So cool. I love that. Where is your favorite place? Because I'm sure you're drinking lots of it, to grab coffee.
Oh, my favorite place to grab coffee. That seems like an unfair thing. I will say though, because I just don't want to say one over the other. I don't want to get cranky. But I will say I have on my Instagram this year for harvest with Justin Trabue, who works over at Heights. We have had a sort of dueling breakfast sandwiches theme.
All right.
Obviously at harvest, when you've been harvesting all night, come 6:30, 7 a.m., it's time for a little something in your tummy. So I would say for the moment, the front runner has been the original OG breakfast burrito from Model Bakery.
Yes, that burrito is delicious.
The station's green eggs, no ham running a very close second because that was just amazing.
I love that one. And I will say the station does such a great job for all of our vegetarian friends.
Yes.
Their breakfast burrito with the sweet potato is delicious. So we're so lucky in California, especially in Napa Valley, to have all of these options available to all of our friends who are gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan, and both Bottle Bakery and Station here in St. Helena do a great job of that. But I I am a little partial to the station wrap.
Yes,
And
I love the station. I think they do such a great job. And honestly, interesting that you should mention that at a committee meeting that I had yesterday about environment and climate change. One of the things we were talking about were the actions that we can all take to help to stabilize climate change over the next 10 years. We can actually do it in 10 years.
Yes.
And one of the things is eating more plant-based. So even if we aren't necessarily vegan all the time, maybe that, sweet potato breakfast sandwich is a good idea from time to time.
That's right. Maybe just once a week, make it an effort to do that. Yeah, so proud of the sustainable efforts here in Napa Valley and the rest of California. The Napa Green program is really just such an important part of this community and our winemaking friends, and I think it's wonderful. I'm going to try to see if I can get Christine O'Sullivan back from Brand. Thank you so much for being with us. Just a refresher, 2015 Trois Noix available via Open the Cellar right now. Like Jamie said, what did you say, 197 cases?
No, there were 97.
97 cases.
Yeah.
That's
There's
nothing.
not a whole lot left, so enjoy it if you can.
I certainly will. Thank you. All right. Bye, Jamie. I'm going to see if I can grab Christine if she's
Bye,
around. Bye.